Hi, welcome everyone to our next Horsey Chat. Let me just introduce our topic before I start sharing my screen so that you can see what I am going to chat about with you today. So here we go. It's going to be absolutely massive. We are actually talking today about the Confidence Tango, I called it. It's a massive topic. So massive because we're looking at horse and rider confidence in one hit, basically. So I will do my absolute best to cover the most important aspects and leave you with some strategies, tactics, and exercises that hopefully help you along on your journey. If you do have questions after the session, by all means, let's make some room and discuss it. You can also text me. You can put it in the chat as well, and I will answer that after the session. So without any further ado, let's have a look what the agenda brings. So we're going to look at what is confidence for a start. Then we're going to have a look at how to build confidence in a rider as well as in a horse. We then have a look at how to preserve it, most important. And then, like I mentioned, post your chat questions and I will answer them if I can after the chat or even after we logged off, and I will respond to it in our little messenger group. So just for the ones who don't know me, I am Gabby Doberly. I am a performance improvement specialist in the real world. I have qualifications in Master's Information Technology and Systems, but also I am a professional business management coach, a life coach, as well as EA, Equestrian Australian coach, and I am certified NLP practitioner, horse behavioralist and communication specialist. However, I am just madly passionate about horses and humans and their interactions. Hence, I am here to basically share with you the knowledge I have gained in the space of confidence. So let's get into it. So when we look at human confidence, we'll cover what is confidence, what are the benefits, how we lose it, we all do, how to build it, regain it, and most importantly, how we can actually preserve it. And same for the horse's confidence. What is it? So what is confidence in a horse? How does it look and feel like when a horse is confident? How does a horse lose its confidence? And how to grow a horse's confidence, as well as how to maintain a horse's confidence. So some tips and exercises around that I'll be sharing throughout this session. So let's start with what is confidence. So what is confidence? Have a look at that picture. Isn't that confidence? I mean, full speed down a hill on a horse in a stretched out gallop, right? So in its simplest form, confidence is the feeling of trust in something. Well, he's got it, right? He's got trust in his horse. I certainly will question my horse going down a hill like this. However, confidence generally refers to a belief in one's abilities, judgments, or qualities. It is the feeling or state of being certain and assured about one's skills, knowledge, and capabilities in a particular situation. Obviously, he's got that. Confidence can manifest in various aspects of life, such as relationships, personal relationships, works, hobbies, horsemanship, right? Our horse riding. So confidence can actually come up in various aspects. Confidence is not necessarily a fixed trait. It can fluctuate depending on different circumstances and experiences we have. So we might be confident, one day and we lose confidence in the next day and we have to regain it. So it does fluctuate. Confidence is in parts a result of how we have been brought up and how we've been taught. We learn from others how to think about ourselves and how to behave. These lessons affect what we believe about ourselves and other people. Confidence is also a result of our experiences and how we've learned to react to different situations. It's important to note that there is a distinction between healthy confidence and overconfidence. So healthy confidence involves a realistic assessment of one's abilities, while overconfidence may involve an inflated sense of self-worth that can lead to underestimating challenges or taking excessive risk. So if I were to do this, what he's doing here, the man from Snowy River, I think I would be overconfident. So then there is confidence versus arrogance. There is sometimes a fine line between confidence and arrogance. As we saw in our confidence definition, being confident is about having the belief and trust in your abilities and knowledge. Arrogance, however, on the other hand, is when someone believes that their abilities or knowledge make them better than others in some way. So confident is about positively expressing your abilities to succeed in or influence specific situations, where arrogance is about boasting to others of your ability to do so. So distinctly different, often I think confused. So let's look at the benefits of confidence. So these are some outcomes of some studies I had a look at. You'll find in my resources page some references to Future Learn. You will also find some references to mindbodygreen.com. Now, that's where some of this information has come from, but you can Google it, and they are the most, looked at companies that deal in that space at this point in time. It all changes. The world moves so quickly. So confidence basically has been found that people are happier who have a high level of confidence. So study 2003, not that recent, but people with higher self-esteem were happier, more satisfied, and had fewer negative moods. So confidence also apparently impacts on physical and mental health. It does make you more resilient to change if you're confident. It apparently helps you to better recover from severe diseases. It also links to success. So these are all aspects, as well as making decisions easier. They're all aspects or benefits of having confidence. So don't want to spend too much time on it. I think you're all here because you do value and you do see the benefits of confidence. So let's dive in. For a start, why the hell do we lose it, right? How do we lose it? Why do we lose it? Why do we lose confidence? We might have not had a lot of confidence by nature. That can, like not everyone is just born with a heap of confidence. Or then as well, like the experiences you have gained in your younger years might have not made you very confident. So, but why do we lose it? If we know why we lose it and we deep dive into it, we can build strategies and mitigations to actually help us build it. So that's why I want to look at it first from a why do we lose it point of view. So failure or rejection is one area, right, where we can lose it. So experiencing failure, rejections, or setbacks can dent our confidence. When things don't go as planned, and we do experience, all of us experience that. Individuals may question their ability and lose faith in themselves if something doesn't quite go the way they had it planned. They start questioning themselves. Negative feedback or criticism is another area. So if someone receives constant criticism or negative feedback, whether from others or even from themselves, self-criticism, that can erode their confidence over time. So unconstructive comments can undermine one's beliefs in their capabilities, right? So we got to be careful in how we do treat each other, what we say to each other, because we could be impacting on someone else's confidence. So comparison with others or with past performances one had. So for example, comparison with others would be constantly comparing yourself with someone else, especially in areas where they perceive that someone else is more successful, can lead to feelings of real inadequacy and loss of confidence. So in another area, so past performances, if individuals perceive a decline in their performance compared to their past achievements, it can lead to a loss of confidence. So in my case, I have started a couple of horses. So I started one last year and I've lost a little bit of confidence because not everything went according to plan. And according to, a couple of things that I did in the past, I felt, well, I should be succeeding, and it wasn't like that. Forgot that was a totally different horse I was treating. So lack of skills and knowledge is another one. So if someone feels they lack the necessary skills or knowledge for a particular task or goal, it can lead to self-doubt and decrease in confidence. Personal challenges. Facing personal challenges such as health issues, relationship problems, or other life difficulties that really can impact. If you've got trouble at work, like it just can impact on your confidence levels across the board. Like it can really do some damage. So perfectionism is another one, setting unrealistic high standards for yourselves and feeling the need to perfect can lead to chronic dissatisfaction and a sense of failure, like negatively affecting confidence in that way. So then you've got negative self-talk. I think most of us have it. I mean, I have been trying to get that really minimized, and I have most of it, but there is still that niggling voice, in the background. So constantly, if someone has a constantly engaging in negative self-talk, that can really undermine their confidence. Imposter syndrome, feeling like a fraud or that one's success is undeserved, that can contribute. Lack of support, so a lack of encouragement or support from family or friends or colleagues, that can contribute to the decline as well. So these are all areas and of where we can lose confidence. I mean, they are massive, right? And there's 9, like there's a lot of areas where if that does not go well, it's going to impact on us. So how do we, I guess, help ourselves here? I've got a little bit of a task for you all, which you can do offline. So I'll give you the slide decks and then you can do this offline. So this task here is really diving in to the root cause. So for you to journal for a week and really dive into a little bit of reflection work here, self-reflection and journaling, and really dive into some of these areas and find how or why did you lose confidence. So it's just a little exercise for you. There is also a really good, great tool I found on Reach Out. It's actually an Australian website. So have a look at that. Absolutely awesome applications on there and little help and tips. So have a look at that as well. I really nearly lost myself on that site. It was really very interesting. So I'll leave that with you. In summary, we all get knockbacks on our journey and our confidence gets bruised or even shattered, and it is in the way really we get back up, right, and rebuild and move forward. That is really the key. So let's continue on that vein and look at how do we actually build confidence. So there's 3 areas. It's a gradual process here, and it's not a quick fix. There's not a book written somewhere or a video to be watched, an injection to be had, medication to be had, or alcohol to be drunk. This is a gradual process over time, including gaining experience, education, and mindset. These 3 areas, it's a combination of these 3 areas that will help you, I guess, gain and gradually move forward in building your confidence. So it is a personal journey and progress may vary from person to person. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your achievements. That's one of the key messages, and focus on the positive aspects of your journey, of your experience. Over time, with consistent effort, a positive mindset, you can become more confident and more skilled in what you choose. For example, in our case, being a good horse handler or a horse rider. So the process I put together here on this slide has 6 steps all up. So let's start with the assessment first. So firstly, assess where you're at. Get some SMART goals done. Refer to the previous chat where we actually discussed how to do SMART goals as well as how to achieve them. Very important, that one. Make sure your goals are achievable. This will help grow in confidence. It will keep you motivated. You will then achieve some of these little snippets, little pieces, milestones, we call them, towards your goal. and that will grow your confidence a little bit. So then gain knowledge. So whatever you're trying to achieve, whatever, if it is, let's say you want to improve your rising trot, you want to, whatever it is in your horsemanship or in your riding, gain the knowledge. Knowledge plays an important role. A confident rider continuously seeks knowledge to further improve themselves, wherever they got the gap. Knowledge gives them an assurance that they can then apply it. It makes them sure, which is a step to getting more self-assured and confident. The third step for me is really understanding my horse. So once I know this is my knowledge, this is my bag of tools I've got, I look at my horse and I go, okay, well, my horse is so insecure. It's got so many elements which I might not be able to handle. So I might not be able to do it. Sometimes, you can't. Not every horse is a match with you, or I should say, well, yeah, a match with you, with your capabilities, with your personality, with your being, right? So it is tough to hear. It is very tough to hear. You can ignore it. It just takes longer, and you might lose confidence on the way. You gain it a little bit. It's just a journey, right? I mean, it just depends on what you want to get out of it. The horse will, however, also go through the same journey. It will potentially become even more insecure if you're not secure. So a horse that is insecure will not assist a non-confident rider to become confident. Make sure you choose the right horse for you to build your confidence. If that is what you're lacking at the moment, if I'm lacking confidence in doing a piaffe, I am not going to sit on one of my horses because they've got no clue. They don't know how a piaffe works. They don't even do it on their own in the paddock. So let alone me teaching it who has no clue how to do it, right? So where do I go? I go to someone who has a school horse, who is absolutely, happy with me making my mistakes and is not necessarily going to throw me off or starts to run away or gets confused and frustrated with me and then loses his confidence. So that's what I don't want to do to this horse. So I don't want to get my horses lose their confidence because I have no clue in how to do it. So I'd rather go to a school horse, learn it there, get my confidence up, learn how it's being done. We just talked about gaining the knowledge, and then apply it to my horse, because then it's not the blind leading the blind. And I can then deal with my horse's insecurity around that movement. I can break the maneuver down because now I have learned how to actually do it. So I potentially can break it down enough for my horse to learn it. So it is very important that we understand where our horses are at. Where are they secure? In what are they secure, insecure, and where are they secure? And so then make sure that we have the tools to actually help them and not make it worse for them. So it's a very touchy subject for many. And, like sometimes you have a horse and you have to reassess the situation. You might have thought, yes, I can do it. I can do this. And then throughout the training, you potentially, you could lose confidence. Oh, no, you're getting to a point and you go, I can't do it. Then don't be shy. Source it out, or just be prepared that it's going to take a little bit longer and break it down if you can. So the message is here: choose the right horse for you to keep or gain your confidence, but also to keep or build the horse's confidence. Set yourself up for a win. Then seek support. So let's say you are on that journey. You want to learn the PR. Look for coaches that fit you. Again, that's a personal thing. Everyone, likes a different type of coach. So it's a personal thing. Keep taking lessons, attend clinics and be guided and get feedback to correct any mistakes you potentially are making. Face your fears, but do it gradually. Break it down. So I cannot stress that enough. If you hit a wall, reassess it and break it down. That helps you not to lose motivation, and it helps you not to lose confidence. Practice consistently. I know you might not practice perfectly, and that's okay. Okay. The more you practice, the more confident you get, and you will find where you're not 100%, because remember, you're gaining knowledge. So you're gaining knowledge, you will identify where you actually can better yourself. So the more you practice, the more confident you get. The last one is celebrate achievements. So we all know, however, we don't do it enough. So find little milestones you can celebrate, share them with your support group, with your network, and celebrate them. And celebration doesn't mean you've got to have a huge party going, right? You can just buy an ice cream because you've done a good job. So, like with my horses, I give them a treat. Maybe walk out in the middle of the day and give them half a feed or something like that as a treat. So to celebrate. So find little tiny milestones to celebrate. So this is the process. And when we then look at some tactics in how to build our confidence, so this is how we basically move through building it. So we assess where we're at, right? We gain some knowledge because we now identified the gap where we're not as, where we could brush up and improve. We also assessed our horse. We know where our horse is at, and we have support, and we now practice consistently, and we do celebrate. So now the tactics to build confidence. Let's visualize a confident horse rider or horseman to figure out what the tactics could be to become a confident rider. So typically, you will find they've got a pretty positive mindset. They have proper training. They have knowledge. They have a relaxed posture, controlled movements in the saddle, and flexibility and adaptability. No matter what the situation, they're still nicely in the saddle. And their emotions are under control, right? And very often, they have actually a smile on their face. So they're enjoying what they're doing. Now, that would be a confident rider. And I think every one of us would like to have what exactly is on this slide. Okay. So let's deep dive into each single one of these and just unpack it and look at what they actually mean and what's actually in there. So positive mindset, we've got positive affirmations. We got, let me just give you the next slide so that we can cheat. Positive affirmations, visualization, mindfulness and meditation. Oops, sorry, pardon me. And we've got journaling. We've got role modeling, join supportive groups. Again, that proper knowledge and training. We've got skill building activities in there. We've got feedback, seeking feedback, learning from mistakes, and again, the celebrating the achievements. So when we look at, let's just go through some of them. I don't want to cover them all, but let's take the positive affirmation from the top down, okay? So positive affirmations. Now, journaling in my view, goes closely because what I do, for example, is I write a daily journal. Within my daily journal, I have my positive affirmations. Visualization, and my visualization, I have a rider in my head. I'm maybe one day going to share it with you. I have a rider in my head, so when I ride, I visualize her when I ride. And mindfulness and meditation, practicing mindfulness and meditation can help you to stay present and focused. It reduces anxiety and promotes a sense of calm. Now, mindfulness meditation, I've got an absolute awesome coach that can teach you. I've done it for about a month last Christmas. And since then, I've rolled it into my little yoga program I do in the morning, 3 times a week. So that is, you can even do like nearly semi-meditation when you, like I sort of went for a little wander with my horse the other day, riding just in walk on a track, and he knew where to go. So I didn't really have to think much, but I started to really take, I was very mindful of my body. So I started with my toes and I worked my way up to my head. and just really hone into how I felt about while I was riding in each part of my body, so from head to toe. It was nearly a meditation kind of thing. So I really went inwards, and my horse was as calm as anything, right? And I thought, oh, this is very helpful, because he could have flipped the lid, but he didn't. He was as calm as, and it might have been because I was in the now. I was in the now with myself, and he might have actually felt that. So you can even do it on the horse, right? But not necessarily, I'm not saying that everyone should do that, but I found that actually did help me to really be very, very calm about it, right? So I was very calm. I was very relaxed after my ride. So that's one, I guess, a little tidbit there for you. Role modeling, identify individuals you admire for their confidence and observe their behaviors, and, mirror, do some mirroring there. Join support groups, like we said before. I find that it's important, and I see that very often with kids as well, being parents, and, it's important what groups your kids hang out with. It's the same with us. Like, it's no different. Like, it's important who you hang out with. Like, you want to hang out with people who encourage you and motivate you and believe in you and help you build your confidence, and not undermine you and pull you apart and, point out where your weaknesses are. Not helpful. So then we move into the skills building activities under proper training and knowledge, right? So get your foundation strong. I cannot force that enough. Get your foundation strong. Like, make sure you know how that foundation is actually broken down, how to break it down in its pieces, and how to assemble it again if you need to, so that you can break it down for the horse if you do need to communicate it to the horse if the horse loses its confidence in a particular piece. Identify an area where you feel less confident and take steps to build your skill in that area. Acquire new skills can enhance your confidence, right? So this weekend we have an in-hand clinic. So if you've never done it before, come along, find out about it. We'll start at the beginning. We'll start with the foundation right at the beginning. Everyone can do it. Every horse can do it. So it's just throw yourself in there. That actually builds confidence as well. Seek feedback. Ask for constructive feedback from others. Learn from mistakes instead of dwelling on mistakes, and celebrate achievements, as we just discussed before. So now we want to look at some in-hand and written exercises that actually help you gain confidence. And it's in the space of training and knowledge, right? So groundwork is a perfect place. So like I just mentioned with the in-hand clinic, it's a perfect place to refresh on your fundamentals on the ground. Do some desensitization training with your horse, introduce your horse to various objects, etc. And mounting and dismounting practices. That's another way of gaining a little bit of confidence. And the older you get, it helps you as well, strengthening your balance, right? So the purpose of it is the familiarity with mounting and dismounting helps you feel more in control and secure when getting on and off your horse. And it's actually the beginning. So the beginning of your ride and the end of your ride, you want to have a good experience, right? Because that is what you will remember, especially the getting off. Balancing exercises, practice the balance exercises such as riding with stirrups or standing in the stirrups at a walk or at a trot. Take the stirrups off. Consider to do balancing exercises without the horse also, like stand on one leg and see how you go. So at the beginning, you might struggle. I do. However, you will improve over time. So improving your balance enhances your overall riding stability, making you feel more secure and confident in the saddle. So it's very important to yoga. For me, is just a great exercise because it's got a piece in there where you do train your balance, and it really helps me to get more confident in the saddle because I'm not flopping around everywhere. Take a lesson on the lunge on an experienced school horse is another exercise you could do. Basic riding maneuvers in a controlled environment. So practice basic maneuvers like stopping, starting, turning, backing up in a controlled environment, like an arena. They're very fundamental exercises, but feel through them and slow them down. And that will help you find confidence, because you're focusing on fundamental riding skills in a confined space. That allows you to gain better control over your horse and build your confidence in your ability to guide them. So that is another exercise you can do. Trail riding in a group, in a safe group, and I suggest not in a big group. Join a group that is like that. Start with shorter, less challenging trails and gradually progress to more, varied terrain, I guess. Ride in a group provides support, companionship. It exposes you to different trail conditions, even to trails, helps you build confidence in various riding environments. So as well as, some of these exercises, actually, you will see them again on this horse side, right? Because it will also improve your horse's confidence. Obstacle courses, so set up simple obstacle courses in an arena or a designated area, poles, cones, or, if you do have a box or a barrel, and navigate around it, over it, under it, do that. In a walk, eventually in a trot, negotiate obstacle improves your horse's responsiveness and your ability to guide them through it. It boosts for both of you your confidence. Then independent riding exercises. Practice riding independently without relying on support of other riders. It's important as well. But like we said, it's a gradual process. Work on maintaining control and focus on your own. Independent riding builds self-resilience and reinforces your ability to handle the horse without constant assistance. So I guess it's for people who always have riding lessons and just riding lessons. Sometimes just do a half an hour without the coach and just ride around and feel and rely on yourself without assistance. So remember, safety, after all, is paramount in all of these exercises, and it's crucial to progress at a pace that feels comfortable for you and your horse. So peer pressure, crossed, okay? No peer pressure in this. If you encounter challenges or anxieties, consider seeking guidance from a qualified instructor or a professional trainer for your horse to provide additional support and tailored advice for your specific situation. But it's at your own pace. Safe environment and at your own pace. It takes as long as it takes. So when we look at how to preserve, so let's say you have gained some confidence through doing some of these exercises and the tactics we've spoken about it so far. So preserving and maintaining your confidence is an ongoing process that involves self-awareness, positive mindset, and effective strategies. So here are some tips. We've got reflect and acknowledge your achievements. Review and assess your SMART goals and adjust them if you need to. Make sure they're always achievable and realistic. Monitor self-talk. Negative thoughts replace with positive affirmations. Catch yourself with that one. View challenges as an opportunity for growth rather than failure. Failure is a natural path of growth, so these both go very close together. Practice mindfulness. Build a supportive network. Stay curious and committed to continuously learn and take care of your physical health. Meaning we sometimes care more for our horse's health than our own. We feed our horses top feed, we get the chiro, we get the physio, we get the who knows who, the dentist, we get, yearly checkups, what have you, and we ourselves don't do that for ourselves. So no, it's not good. So take care of your physical health as well. So now let's have a look at the confidence tango between rider and horse. Key message here is understand our and the horse's mental and physical needs. Brings me back again to make sure you understand where you're at, understand where your horse is at, understand what you need, understand what the horse needs, and try to then find a way together, okay? So let's dive in first into what is a confident horse. So confident horse, I've got a bit of a definition here. Confident horse has the ability to stay calm in a variety of environments. They are able to find calmness and relaxation after potentially getting a fright. A horse that is sure in its being and environment. So that is a confident horse, sorry. So where does the horse actually get its confidence from? Not too dissimilar from us, so from itself by birth. So some of them are born with a lot of confidence. I do have a few bold ones and brave ones, which is really great. In one way, can be a pain in the bum in another way, okay? With them, you always have to prove that you are worth the leadership, and it's not them. So it's not easy. So a confident horse will take the leadership. And yeah, you then have to prove that in some situations you might be the better leader. So, horse, we follow this path. So you could lock heads there. So it's not necessarily that the confident horse is that much easier than the insecure horse, which I do also have, where you potentially have to build its confidence, okay? And then you have the horse can also gain its confidence from its mates in the paddock, from other horses. Again, be careful who you put them together with, because they can either, they can be bullied. They can be in an environment where their confidence is going down and not up. So you got to watch who you let them socialize with as well. So that's the three areas: from themselves, from other horses, or from their handlers and riders. So how do we build confidence in a horse? So we now have assessed our horse. I've got an insecure horse, you say. What do I do with it? So again, mentioned it before, know yourself and your capabilities. Physical and mental state, it's very important. Remember, a confident rider has control over their emotions. So make sure your mental state, that you are balanced, mentally balanced, because you will be connecting with the horse's mind to be able to raise its confidence, not his body. You will be first connecting with its mind. So remember, the most confident horse can lose its calm if you are not sure of yourself and your guidance. So you can confuse a horse to the extent, you can frustrate a horse to the extent that it does lose its calm, and it potentially will end up insecure or less confident. So know your horse, its physical, mental health, its capabilities and skills, its character, its traits, its way of thinking. They don't think all the same. And most importantly, what I want you to take away is its needs for safety in mind, in space, and in pressure. So what is its needs? Some horses put more, their needs are more in safety in mind. Some of them in safety in space. They need more space than others. And then you've got some of them, the slightest pressure, they don't feel safe with. So that's a different kind of horse again. So it depends on what your horse needs. So it depends who you need to be for your horse to connect with your horse. You do need to connect to be able to build a horse's confidence. So the combination of positive experiences, clear communication, and gradual exposure to new things and situations will help your horse to build its confidence. So understand their needs. This is the key takeaway for you. Understand their needs. Who do you need to be for your horse in a particular time and place? Let's deep dive into this and look at the top 9 around building it. So we've got established trust. Work with the inside of the horse, with its mind, heart, and soul. before you work with its body. To achieve the outside result you are after, you need to understand how safe does it need to be in its mind, in its space, and with pressure. Consistent handling. Consistent handling makes a horse calmer. Sometimes I think it's even if you don't handle them very nicely, because they seem to be so obliging that they get used to nearly everything, right? So, which is very sad, but it is consistent handling as well. And so it makes them confident in how you handle them. You know what I mean? So you can have a confident horse that potentially has been mishandled. Same cues for same things. Be particular with it. Reward the slightest try. Do it often. Now, if I say this, reward the slightest try and do it often, the easiest way to do it often is if you break things down. If you break things down with, so that they can achieve it, you can reward. So that's, I guess, a little bit of a tip there. Desensitize and familiarize. Take it step by step. Again, slow it down, break it down. Groundwork, establish your fundamentals in a logical sequence. There is a reason for the dressage training, the dressage training scale. There is a reason for some of the horsemanship training scales. If you look at Jonathan Field has one, Paparelli has one. There is a lot of these horsemen, they have in their program, they have a scale, they have a training scale. You do one thing before you do another thing. And the sequence of these pieces are important. They are logical sequences. They go back to biomechanics, mindfulness. They go back to these kind of elements. So be aware of it and follow it. Don't reinvent the wheel. It's there. Follow it. So we've got positive association with work can be achieved. End on a good note. So end your sessions on a good note. If you do end up maybe 5 minutes before you wanted to finish on a bit of a, hiccup, well, just do another 5 minutes on something very easy your horse can do and end it on a good note. Done, dealt with. And then go back the next day and try to approach it potentially a different way, whatever you've tried, and come back or come out with a better outcome. Be confident for your horse. Manage your emotions. Like we mentioned before, confident riders, they got their control over their emotions. Use mindfulness. Be aware of your internal state and surroundings, like your emotions. Be patient. Have empathy and kindness. With that, for example, if a horse is spooking or is a bit worried about something, try to empathize. There is a reason why they spook. They're not wrong. They're not idiots. It's their nature. It's their nature to spook. So be understanding, have empathy for it, and connect with them and guide them through whatever they're spooking about. Don't force them into the area. That doesn't help either. If they spook about a particular thing and force them and run into it and try over and over and over again, it just raises their anxieties. Just let it go. Acknowledge it. You've seen it. Find out how close the animal can go and walk away and approach it again, potentially from a different, the same way. Approach it again, but maybe with a little bit of a different distance. Space, remember. What is the need for space? How much space does your horse need? So become the person, the rider your horse needs to be in that situation. So empathize with the horse's view, if you can. So confidence exercises for your horse. Here are quite a few of them. So you can do daily grooming and visits. So like the daily grooming, perfect when we have rain all the time. Touch-it game. So that's another one where you get your horse to touch different objects, introduce different objects to them, do some liberty and play, especially like, if you can't ride or you don't have the time to ride and tack up and do all that, play with your horse, play a little bit. See, like with your position, where do you have to be to get your horse to move forward or backwards or sideways? Like, communicate, try to connect with your horse through body language, through your liberty work and play. groundwork and leading practices. So if you've got them online on a rope, do some groundwork with them. That actually builds trust between you and the horse if it's done correctly. It also builds your confidence. It also builds your confidence. It builds the horse's confidence. Then trail exposure with a small group, a supportive group, a calm group, some experienced horses on there who have been on trails before. Go and join that. So centric, so that's tricks. So I do differentiate liberty and tricks for a reason, which I guess is a whole different topic. But yes, so centric and tricks. So that's like your lying down, your rearing, your bows, all of that, your smiles, all of that kind of stuff. Play around with it. Do some positive reinforcement and play around with tricks. Obstacle courses are another one. Riding to music, or even I actually have my music, a little music, on my phone. I put it on me because it's totally different having music blaring outside away from the horse and have it actually in the saddle. So that's another one which I found was a very good exercise for one of my horses who just could at the beginning not cope with it. But she has now been introduced to the sound and she's now quite confident with having stuff blaring on her top. She doesn't actually care anymore about it, but she originally was. So that's just a few exercises you can do. Throughout doing these exercises, slow yourself down, listen, and try to feel. Put yourself into your horse's shoe or hoofs, or, shoes if they wear shoes, but hoofs. Listen to how they could feel. So empathize and slow it down. So how to go about it, I just said that, I guess. I can nearly know my slides off by heart here. Slow down, back up and break it down. That's a major one. Go back to the fundamental exercises, break them down, take your time, put them back together. Work on each part of the horse separately. So work on the front end, work on the middle, work on the back end, then put it all together. So make sure the cues for the front end when you move, your rein aids, or you separate your rein aids from the leg aids, from the seat, from, play around a little bit, slow it down and really pay attention and focus to maybe just one thing and see if your horse understands what you're talking about. Feel the horse, ask, then pause and wait, and feel the horse again, ask, pause and wait. So that's my little circle I try to do if I ride or if I am in, on the ground. Give very clear phased cues so that your aids are clear, communication is clear. Otherwise you confuse, you frustrate, and the horse will lose its confidence. So if you give clear phased cues, your communication channel can then be open and you have a way of communicating with your horse without confusion. Separate your aids to re-establish communication. That's what I just mentioned before. Encourage a horse to think with pressure and softness. So a horse who, I guess some horses in relation to pressure, they don't, some feel a little bit safer when you put pressure on, some don't. However, you got to encourage them to work with pressure. There is pressure in our lives everywhere. And if we don't work with the horse and don't, I guess, expose them to pressure, that's when we get the spookiness happening. That's when we get, potentially a horse taking off in the sunset with us and we have no control anymore. So we got to help them to deal with pressure. And some, I guess, are harder to deal with than others. And all of that with softness. Know the movements components. So that's how you can actually take movements apart. If you do not know what the fundamentals exercises are and the components, the movements are within, and how you break them into its components, to then eventually treat them in separate pieces, to, once the horse is confident with it, to build it all back together into one particular exercise or movement, You've got to focus on that. You've got to get the knowledge, gain the knowledge in how to do that. That's how you can build confidence in a horse, when you pull the stuff apart and individually provide it to them and teach it to them and reward them when they get it right. Okay, so that's what I meant by break things down. Know the environment you're in and observe it at all times. So, and adjust yourself according to the environment. So if you are working in an environment like you're on a trail ride, you potentially have to adjust to that environment. And like we discussed the other day about the trail ride, it's too late to teach a horse certain things on a trail ride. You have to teach it at home. It's like a competition, okay? The trail ride is, at the end, the test, how well you have built the horse's confidence to deal with water, to deal with whatever comes along. It's the test. The trail ride is its test, okay? It's like the competition. You don't go to a competition to train. You go to a competition to compete. So this brings me to the end of the session. So I hope you enjoyed this. I will leave you with some resources. So the additional resources here, there are all some good links, some great links. The Horsemanship podcast, absolutely love it. She's amazing. Carson James is another horseman. He is just down to earth. He breaks stuff down in simple words and straight in your face. So he is quite amazing. Karen Rolfe, some of you had clinics with Karen. Karen's awesome. She's a dressage Olympian. She's done some amazing work. So she's got a podcast as well. So this is the podcast. She talks about confidence. And she's quite straightforward. Stacey Westfall, you all know Stacey. Most likely you've seen her little clip where she does the bridleless, I think it was raining. So she's got a lovely podcast there, and she talks about horses' confidence and trail rides. Amelia Dempsey, Horsemanship Breakthrough podcast, awesome, amazing. I think she's an Aussie. Amazing what she's a young girl, absolutely amazing what she's got in her toolkit. So listen to her podcast, pretty good. Josh Nickel, one of my favorites. He's the space. He's a Canadian guy, and he's very much into mindfulness horsemanship. So have a look at him. He's quite awesome. And then we've got our Mark Langley here, right? So I mean, he's very much mindfulness as well. There is some more, but in relation to this topic, I've given you a few. So have fun with those, and I will see you next time. Thanks for listening.